Happy Sunday, good afternoon. It's the Lord's Day. It's a beautiful day. So today I'm going to tie two flies. It's the same fly, but two different colors. It's a very quick fly, so it won't take very long. Uh, I'm going to be tying what's called the San Juan worm. Basically, it's a fly that looks like a worm on a hook. So, uh, my materials today, I'll be starting with, let me turn this around. So, my materials are eagle claw hooks. These hooks come with three sizes, and this is the smallest size that I'm using today. Uh, Switch hands so you can see it. It's the smallest size of the three. It doesn't need to be very big. Uh, and I forgot to take out a second one, so let me grab that real quick so I'll be ready. Yeah, so this is a very simple fly. If you have some thread, then you basically have the things that you need to make a San Juan worm. All right, here we go. All right, I got my two hooks ready. Sorry, I wasn't ready before. So eagle claw hooks from Walmart, cheap and user-friendly. I've got two colors here. I've got red and green. This is the olive green and then just red. And then I've got two matching threads, a thread to match each one. So that's basically what you need. I would imagine you could do this with sewing thread if you needed to, if you didn't have fly tying thread. But fly tying thread is cheap enough if that's what you want to do. Thank you, Jim. And thanks for watching. So these hooks come with a bend in them, which I don't typically like for fly tying, so I tend to straighten those out. Let's see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Oop. There we go. So it's got a bend in it. I like to straighten that out. So I just put it in the vise, clamp it down, and then just bend it some until you straighten it out. And then typically it's kind of common to press down the barbs. So the barb that's here, and then the barbs that are on top of this type of hook, it's a bait holder. You can use regular hooks that don't have the barbs on them. You can also get fly tying hooks that are built without or made without a barb. So I'm just going to lock this in the vise. My last fly was much bigger, so it needs to be adjusted. And if you're wanting to get into this, so this vise, you can spend a lot of money on a vise, but this vise was like, I think 30 bucks at Cabela's or Bass Pro. They both have the same ones, so they're not very expensive, and they just clamp to your table, and then they hold the fly, and they do fine for me. I mean, it can be a little bit wobbly sometimes. Anyway, you put the hook in, and it rings if it's tight, so that's good. So this is micro chenille, just like chenille thread that you would make a sweater out of or a hat, but it's micro, it's very small. So I took a piece that's about maybe 3 or 4 times the length. I might have made this a little bit long, but I'm going to also burn a little bit of the end, so sometimes that'll make it shorten a little bit. So I got a lighter here also, strictly for fly tying purposes, of course. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually burn the end a little bit. So you just do that, and it gives a little bit of a taper right at the end. Get this side too, just like that, and there we go. And if it's too pointy, if you don't like it, just, which is the case with that one, just snip it off and burn it again. There, that's better. So it's more of a blunt point, not so sharp. Right? And then, so this is a very simple part. Basically, you're going to, just like with any other fly, you're going to put a base down of thread. It's going to make this hook blend in with the yarn. Very simple. Some people will tie that like that and they just snap that off. I have a hard time doing that. I don't know what they do that's different, but for whatever reason, they're able to do it and it just snaps right off. Mine would probably pull my whole table over. So I've got the thread started here. I worked it towards the back, towards the bend, and I'm just going to make a couple of turns. Go back. I want this to be longer on the end. I started it right there. I want it to be a little bit longer. There, that's more even. Okay. 1, 2 turns. I'm going to move it back and move down the hook some. 1, 2 turns again. A little bit further down. 1, 2 turns. I'm going to pull this back. And we finish it. Do that again. This is a half hitch. I'll show you this half hitch one more time. So you just go around your finger with the thread, but only your finger. And then you come down on top so you have it crossing. And then you just flip it down and tighten it. And you don't want this to bind down at an angle. You want it to be to where it kind of hangs like that. Alright, and then my last turn is going to be, I'll go under the hook. I go over the finger, under the hook, over the finger. You can't see that. Let me back it out. Come on. Let me put this down. I'll do that again so you can see it. I think you can see it there. Get my thread length shorter. Okay, so I've done 2 or 3 half hitches, and now I'm going to do this knot. You can also use a whip finisher, but this is, for me, it's just as easy to just go ahead and do it this way. So I go from the hook, I go over my finger, under the hook again, over my finger again, but I move it over a little bit to this side. It's the second turn. And then I let that hang, and I'm going to snip that off. Let me do that again. Over and over again, so it's next to it. And then you go through that one, pull it through, and then put it back where it was, and then through again, pull it through again. I'm going to pinch this so the loop is there, and it's going to go down to the eye. Snip it off. I want to make sure that my string is going to ride the way it's supposed to. That. I'm going to turn this over, so this has a release here where you can turn it over. That. And then I'm going to take my clear fingernail polish, put a little bit under the bottom to secure it. Okay, so that's one. That's the red. Now, one thing you can do with these is you can get a bead. Actually, I don't know where mine are now. You can put a bead on this that sits right here behind the eye, and it just gives it a little extra flash, and you can work the thread through there. Okay, so that was the red. I'm just going to do the same thing with the green, and same step. So I got my bent eagle claw hook. I'm going to take the bend out of that very quickly. I'm going to press down my barbs on my hook because they're not necessary. I'll lock the hook in the vise till it rings. I'm going to That's about right. My thread came out of my bobbin holder, so I'm going to put that back through. Okay, it's back through. All right, lay a base of thread down. Now this one, because of the color of this hook, this thread actually really blends in. And if you can find chenille, this micro chenille that looks more of a worm color, kind of a pink, it's perfect. I just don't have that. And a lot of the San Juan worms that I see are actually green. Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and fix my points here, my end of my thread. Just a little blunt point there. And then again, there. And then lay that so that it's kind of centered on the hook. Got 1, 2 turns, a few turns down the hook. 1, 2 turns, a few turns down the hook. 1, 2, and you want to keep this thread all on top of the hook. Okay. And then you go underneath around where the eye is. A few more turns. I'm going to do a half hitch, which is around the finger and on top of the hook, so it crosses. Then flip the loop down and tighten it. One more time. And then I'll do my locking knot, which is once over the finger, twice over the finger. Snip it. It falls on the ground, which is great. Pull the thread through the loop, put it back, pull it through again, put it back, pinch it, and tighten it. And then wherever you put your scissors, you can pick them up and cut off the string. Go down here again, finish it with a little bit of clear nail polish on just the thread, not on the yarn, so it doesn't make it hard. It'll be nice and fluffy. And there is a finished San Juan worm, and you can see how quickly that one went when I wasn't slowly going through the steps. So in the water, you know, all this will undulate and it'll give it the effect of being worm-like. And that's it. So I have 2 varieties of San Juan worm. Oh, that didn't work out. Anyway, red and a green. And just tie that on, throw it out in the water, and see what eats it. And that is it. So, hope you enjoyed it. If you have regular yarn, you could probably do this with some version of other yarn and maybe get lucky. One of the things about the chenille is it's smooth. So, and then when you put the thread wrap around it, it kind of gives it that segmented look. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. It was a little short video. Check out some other videos I've got. I think this is my 20th on YouTube. This is on Facebook Live, and I always save it and put it on Facebook, on YouTube as well. So search for Quiet Man 28, and I've got some fly tying videos there, and you can even see one of me singing. So whatevs. But check it out, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. So it's fun to see people watching. Thanks David for watching, and Mom for watching, and Jim for watching, and whoever else is popping up over here. And have a happy Sunday.